Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Trado. Next slide. Laura? Sorry. Our history is dying. 2 years ago, I thought my mother was dying of cancer. And for 12 months, there was one thing that kept running through my mind. If she died, there was so much I didn't know and so much I hadn't asked. And if I didn't soon, I wouldn't be able to pass down to my children. A year down her recovery, the issue had not left my mind. What happened to the stories we loved? Stories like my mother, an immigrant from Iran, were getting drowned out by the biographies focusing on the white and wealthy 1%. Digital snapshots were a storage in time that had the potential to be lost. Other options didn't facilitate any interaction between family members and expected customers to write their own biographies. What this resulted in was a history of wealthy, successful people, and the history of the people we loved were irrelevant and lost. History and publishing just hadn't been democratized yet, and as a result, unheard voices remained unheard. Especially in today's world where our loved ones are sick and stuck at home, the need to learn and hold on to their stories is paramount. But what does a solution look like? Well, to start, the solution is not exclusive. The average ghostwriter costs over $10,000, and most people can definitely not afford that. The solution is not time consuming. You shouldn't have to train to be a writer, just have your voice heard. And finally, the solution is durable, unlike VHS tapes and memories flashing up on Facebook. There should be a simple and accessible way for people's voices to be remembered. That's what Trado is, and that's what we do. Trado is a web application that asks you interesting and created questions, records your answers, and turns them into a professionally, beautifully written bound book. From war stories to immigration tales to love stories and more, we use custom machine learning to turn audio recordings into cleansed and polished texts. Trado has a database of custom tailor-made prompts from question topics as general as love life to as specific as life working on a cattle farm that generate specific interview questions through our machine learning. From here, our customers record their answers in our in-house app, also having options to create their own questions or select from other topics that we believe could be applicable to their lives. As they record, our voice-to-book technology gets to work, transcribing, cleansing, and polishing their story. The final part, which as a journalist I really love, is that professional writers come in and use their skills to polish up the story. 3 weeks down the line, a professionally written book about you is delivered to your door. Oh, next slide, sorry. When it comes to competition, Trado intersects a number of different industries, including transcription, storytelling, publishing, and genealogy. However, whilst we may intersect those areas, no one is doing what we're trying to do. While our transcription capabilities are nothing like Amazon's, we are not a transcription company. We're the only accessible, fast, and technology-driven solution trying to bring self-publishing to every person. So when it comes to our market sizing, when we looked at it, our most robust and significant results came from upper class, middle-aged incomers, probably about the 10% of earners, and 75% at that time said they would be interested in Trado's initial product. That leads to a bottom-up market opportunity of $1.2 billion, which is assuming we only exclusively offer family history books and capture 50% of those top earners. However, if we branch into other products beyond family histories, we then compete with story publishing and family preservation and address a $4 to $10 billion market. So where are we right now? So we verified our first product, which is writing family history books. And just through that, we have a waiting list of over 200 plus people. We've developed our MVP and reduced cost of goods sold from $2,500 to $50. We've hired pro writers, we've had investment from a very well-known publishing firm, and we've also released our new beta, which now has 30 people on it. So what's coming next? We are currently initiating our outbound sales with elderly care partners. We're going to onboard our entire waiting list and hopefully sell 1,086 books, which is one more than the most books to be written by one person. But family history is just the beginning, where we've had so much interest from real estate, medical, executive, legal areas saying that they want to use our API. So when they even record, anything can become professionally written. We've even had a partnership with Duke Medical School documenting patient experiences. And just a little bit about my team. I graduated from Duke this year with a major in history and a minor in journalism. And my co-founder, who sadly couldn't be on this call, is the tech whiz, and has run multiple startups and is a partner at the Duke Accelerator. And our advisor, Greg Shaw, is a founding investor in Clyde Hill Publishing and wants us to bring highbrow publishing to the masses. And we're currently looking for $250,000 to fulfill existing orders and fast track the next 12 months of product development. Thank you so much.
Yes, virtual Zoom clap there for Sophia. Thank you so much. That was a great pitch. And Daniel and Rob, take it away.
Rob, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Sophia, I love this idea. It's really cool, and congratulations on your success. So I just put in the chat the 8 things I look for in a pitch, and I think you hit on 7 of them. So really nice job with the pitch. I also like your open, just a personal story about your mom. That always just grabs the attention of the audience. So I think that's great. I think on the how you make money. So it sounds like you're charging $150 per book. Is that right? Yeah. Or are there different tiers? Because to tell someone's life story, there's probably the simple view, but then there's the, you could definitely see a silver, gold, platinum type of offering here.
Well, actually in the middle of that. So a lot of people actually don't want professional writers. So you have the base tier, which would be just, you have a basic transcription and we guide you through the process. The second would be the professional writers, and the more time they spend on it, and the more intricate the story becomes, you pay more. And the final, which we're trying to implement in the next couple of months, is, including transcription of home videos or adding photos, et cetera, et cetera. So the tier system is definitely somewhere where we see ourselves actually making more money.
So talk to me about that entree tier. Can that be automated through your transcription service?
Yeah.
Because that's where you really have scale. If you can charge $150 and you're just utilizing your transcription service to produce the book, and maybe all that you're doing with humans is reviewing the final product, I think that's where you have scale.
So our fundraising predominantly is going into natural language processing. So the goal would be, what ends up happening is our API is pretty great right now, but the goal would be that the API, the ultimate goal of it is to transform readable sentences to make them more concise, right? And make them more legible and exciting to read. So yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is that people will be able to not even, the goal is to kind of gradually take the professional writers out, unless people want that human experience,
Yeah, so that my 2 recommendations would be is if you can make that first tier as scalable as possible by utilizing technology. The second thing is can you turn this into a B2B offering? You did mention selling into elder care providers, but if that could be part of their offering, that they're going to go. The elder care provider is going to be with my mother 3 days a week. And if a service that they can provide is transcribing her life story, and you're actually getting paid by the elder care providers, that becomes really interesting. It turns a B2C business into a B2B to C business, which I think changes the entire outlook of the company. Is that also the goal?
So actually, we're very weirdly, uniquely positioned in this elderly community. So Max, my co-founder, who sadly couldn't be here, he ran a funeral tech company, and still kind of does. And we now have a network of 200,000 elderly care homes around the world that we do believe want and use this service. So I think going into Q1 of next year, that's going to be our goal of really tapping into them and seeing what we can get out of it. So yes, for sure.
Do you have any of those signed up yet?
We haven't actually reached out to them yet because our waiting list is pretty extensive and we're just going through our beta. But the goal is, once we're ready and up and running, that will be the next step after doing our wait list.
Okay. And is your beta just, it's the B2C portion is just, you have a backlog stacked up?
Yeah.
Okay. Really interesting idea. I like it a lot. Over to you, Daniel.
Sophia, great job, and I'll hit a couple points that Rob's done. But I love starting out with a personal story about your mom. Right, it's always nice to understand that motivation of what got you here. I think again, this idea of history is written by the winners. Here's a way to get a broader experience is an interesting point. The fact that you're driving this by AI, I think is really fascinating. And as you were going through that, there were a couple of folks. Are you in Charlotte or are you in the Raleigh-Durham area?
Me, currently in Boston, but I was in Durham.
Okay. Because there are a couple of companies there that that may be really interesting connections. There's a company called K4 Connect, and they're doing technology. They're providing technology to retirement communities, simplifying technology, right, to keep your retirees connected to their families. That may be a very, very interesting potential channel for you. So let me know if, and the founder there is a great guy. He was the guy that did the fingerprint ID Authentic for the Apple iPhone.
Oh, wow.
Great guy. And then there's another AI company that's doing some really interesting work on conversational AI. I'm sure you've probably used an Alexa device. Well, the original founding technology for that was actually built right here in North Carolina by a company called Yap, and the founder there, Igor Yablokov, has now created a new company out of Raleigh called Prion, and they're doing conversational AI. So it's a really interesting technology that might be an interesting tool for you to at least look at. And happy to make those connections for you offline. Getting back, and then one other piece here, I was fascinated when you talked about the patient experience and some of what you did for Duke. That's interesting because there are obviously a couple of big healthcare companies here where that could be interesting. So I'd love, Sophia, just to get a little bit more background from you on not on this conversation, but offline on what you did there, because as it turns out, I'm actually meeting with a very senior innovation executive at a big healthcare company tomorrow. So I'd love to get a little bit of that knowledge in my head. Back to the kind of the economics. Again, the $150 for versus for the kind of the base, it would have been nice to get a little bit better understanding of. And this is from behavioral. I'm an economist by training. I went to that other school in the Raleigh-Durham area, by the way, so you can see the flag back there. But the behavioral economics 101 is small, medium, and large. And if you offer people small, medium, and large, 80% of them, 90% pick medium, and you want them to pick medium, right? So I think that was what Rob was alluding to earlier. $150 is great as the entry point, but what do you really want to sell people, right? You probably want to sell them that entry point plus a little bit of the professional writer to kind of finish it off, if you will. And I will tell you, I've got, my mom's 80 some odd years old. My father-in-law is 90 some odd years old. I'd love to be able to offer something like this to them, right? To be able to get a lot of their stories down on paper, if you will. Great job on the presentation. You got a very, very interesting market here, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Sophia, one other thing. So Daniel and I are your perfect target markets. We're old guys that have aging parents.
Exactly.
And my immediate thought is that wouldn't this be a cool Christmas present for everybody in my family, that you go and interview my mom, she tells her story, and then I pass out the books for Christmas. Mm-hmm. You got to get so my challenge to you is, how do you get to the old guys like us through digital marketing?
Yeah, so far we haven't actually done any marketing at all. And I think if we fundraise, the goal would be getting an expert in, because there's only so many hats you can wear and not know. And I'm not the right person to know. So you kind of have to sometimes realize, like, when you don't know something, and kind of bring people on to get there. Definitely not.
It's very similar to undergrads, that presentation. They're doing a lot of digital marketing already. I mentioned that I just happened to go to their website yesterday, and next thing you know, there's I got retargeted through a Facebook ad. I think that's the type of thing that you want to be able to implement so people can find you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then target, our demographic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
100%. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sophia, for that pitch. Virtual